Hey, Dan, what's up?
I feel like I'm making you work.
Hey.
It's all good.
What's up, Dan?
Hey. I have a question for Garrett.
Yo, I got answers for Dan.
Alright. I know you've talked about your experiences with, like, being a mascot for parties and stuff.
Oh, yeah, I got a party on Saturday, the first time I've worked as Darth Vader in, like, 3 months.
Could you, like, talk about how you got started with that and, like, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah.
what you do there?
Here, I'll make it real brief. I'll pause it. Let's see. Da-da-da-da-da. A friend of mine worked for a party rental company, and they had a big Halloween party that they needed someone to be Chewbacca for. So I volunteered to do it. I think it was like 4 hours, and I was going to get like 200 cash under the table or some shit like that. I don't know. But then I did it. I had a lot of fun. I actually made a little button that was wired to a speaker that I taped to my chest, and I had a little MP3 player that I preloaded on an SD card, like an hour of Chewbacca noises on loop. I made this MP3 with Audacity, and then I would just, the button in the finger would turn the speaker, it would make connection to the speaker, the actual negative terminal of the speaker. So the thing was just playing on loop. It was a little battery operated thing. It was all kind of taped to my chest, and then I put the Chewbacca costume on. So whenever I wanted to fake growl, I would just hit the button in the glove, and it would go, whatever. I can't do it well. That's why I had the MP3 thing. They liked it so much that they're like, oh my god, you should do this more, but we only do Chewbacca at Halloween. It's such a shame. I was like, what else do you do? I'll do anything Star Wars. So I started doing Darth Vader for them. It got infrequent, became pretty frequent, but basically I don't talk as Vader. I just show up. There's a Jedi assistant there who does like Jedi training games. We basically run like obstacle course game stuff, play with like big parachutes or like the big tubes that little kids run through. Usually in backyards or parks, 5 to 7 year olds, 15 to 7 of them at a time. Typically birthdays. It's fun. It's usually an hour party. It's hot as fuck in the summer, and I tear it up as the Lord Vader, the best Sith of all. And I show up to the party, and the Jedi goes in, introduces himself to the kids, says he's going to train them all, sets up the games, starts giving introductions. 5 minutes later, I come around. We parked around the block, so we're out of view, and we change into the costumes. I come around the side of the house while he's giving the presentation, or, you know, up the street from the park or wherever it is. Sometimes the parents are playing music, and when I show up, they start playing Imperial March. And then I get all I get like super amped when I hear that because, you know, whatever. I'm still fucking way into Star Wars, and I am Darth Vader at that point. I feel like a badass, and all these kids are so fucking scared. And then I just like call out, I just like point across the grass of the backyard or the park or whatever at the Jedi. And then he usually plays like he doesn't realize I'm there because I come up behind him. The kids are all shouting, "It's Darth Vader!" He turns around, we fight, get him in a chokehold, I put him down on his knee, I'm putting the force choke on him, and then he calls out to all the kids to come get me. Now, one of two things always happen. Either the kids all fucking attack me and I'm defeated, I hand over my lightsaber, and then I agree to be good and help train the kids for the rest of the party, and then we leave. Or, what typically happens, especially if they're younger crowds, I have terrified the kids into a statuesque pose, and none of them will help when the Jedi requests them to aid. And I'm just standing there chokeholding him. He is calling, you know, come help, help, help. They're terrified. They're crying or either turning around. At which that point, I just look startled and bewildered, and it really doesn't make sense. And then he usually just stands up and takes my lightsaber, and we break the very scary appearance and go right into, no, you know what? He's a nice guy. I've disabled his voice chip, so he won't be speaking and doing those nasty voices, and we'll just train you guys in the ways of being a Jedi. He's all good, and we'll hug and stuff and, like, calm the kids down. But you would be surprised at how many kids are scared of Darth Vader. I was never, like, scared when I was a kid. I just thought he was really cool. But then again, I never came into contact with a 6.5-foot tall real life version of it. Mm-hmm. But that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Thanks.
Do you know
Yoko
how to get out
said.
of stories like naturally?
Oh my god.
No, and when I have practiced my stand up, that's what it is. It's stories that all just end, and it's like, so that happened.
You have no. You just don't.
There's no punchlines, which makes awkward laughter, and that's not the type of stand up I want. So I'm gonna work on that before I ever get on a stage.